Most goals fail before the first week because they were never actually owned. Now, I want to say that at first when you're setting goals, the vague goals, the simple goals like do 10 push-ups every single night for a week feel pretty easy. All right, these vague goals feel safe. But now on the other side, specific goals, they usually feel kind of risky. Like they feel kind of scary. They make you feel a little nervous. They make you feel some sort of way in your gut. And sometimes when you feel those goals, you feel like maybe you might not be able to accomplish them. But that's something you have to understand is that keyword risky, because risk exposes weakness. You can't achieve anything without overcoming weakness. And if you don't know what the weakness is, then you can't move forward. You stay damned forever in a miserable state, alike unto Satan, who wants you in the same position he's in. No growth, no transformation, no success. So that's why people stay vague. That's why we set such easy goals. These SMART goals are really not smart at all. They're actually kind of, I don't know if I dare even go any further than that. They're just not smart. Okay? Yeah, and there's aspects of it that are good. Like you want to be specific. You want it to be somewhat measurable. Yeah, absolutely. But as far as the attainability of the whole entire goal, if it doesn't stretch you, if you don't feel like even that there's like a slight chance it probably won't work out, then it's probably not big enough. If there is no risk, then it's not big enough. I might even change the R in the SMART from whatever it is, realistic to risky. That would be a SMART goal. And I think if you were to change that, if you were to reword some things within your goal setting process, I think you would find a lot of success. If the goals we chased were a little bit risky, we would be fulfilling our primal desire to accomplish and to conquer. The next really big thing I want to talk about is that goals fail when they depend on emotion. Now, emotion fluctuates. That's the one thing that I want you guys to remember. When it comes to setting goals based off of emotion, they fluctuate. But systems don't. When you know exactly what it will take every single day or every single week, when you have these key indicators that you cannot miss, otherwise you will miss your goals, you'll miss the attainment, then you know exactly what has to be done and you stick to it. When it's based off of like, I feel like I should do this day, I'm feeling like blah, 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 blah. It needs to have systems. Now, it's important to remember that discipline isn't loud, it's scheduled. And the more scheduled your disciplinary actions are, your disciplinary goal setting is, the more meditative it becomes, the quicker you enter into the flow state in which you can even do it without thinking. And I think that's what we miss a lot of the times is we think too much about it. We become emotional about everything rather than having a system that we just stick to because it's part of the day, it's part of the routine. And if you can get that in your routine, then you become unstoppable. Every single goal is attainable. Lastly, I want to talk about how writing is a big part of goal setting. If we don't write it down, I made a reel years ago. Not years ago. It was like literally like 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half. I'm not really sure. I posted that the first step is always to write it down. If you got a journal, it's one of the greatest life hacks of my life. I would attribute 90% of 2025's success to this journal. And I'm going to go off on a limb and I'm going to assume that 2026 is going to be very successful for very much the same reason. As well as 2020 and 2021, I used the journal and I had never experienced so much success, so much miracles, so much of a relationship with God. It was because I used a journal. So writing forces you to face things you would rather ignore. There's a lot of things you just don't really think about. You don't face because they're buried underneath other thoughts. And without writing these things down, without writing down the goals, then these underlying worries, these underlying blockades don't come out. So if you don't write a goal, you won't live it. And I think if you want any dream to happen, you have to have it on paper first, because without a blueprint, you can't build a building. All right. That's the biggest thing. Anyways, my name is Gabriel Bowman. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, comment, and subscribe, and hit that bell icon so you don't miss any of my future videos. I'm going to be posting 3 a week for a couple of months, so don't miss a single one. And also, if you want to go into the playlist section, you'll find a couple of playlists based on a couple subtopics like addiction or goal setting or discipline, right? Go and check those out if you're struggling with any of those. I promise just by watching those playlists, you will find a lot of fulfillment. And each video is at least 4 to 6 to 8 minutes long, within that range. Anyways, it will be worth your time 100%, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.